Don't give a speech you haven't read, blasts Baroness Fox on GB News. In this Free Speech Nation segment, hosted by Andrew Doyle, Labour faces a heated challenge over its latest immigration U-turn. You can't believe anything they say anymore. Is this a crisis of leadership or calculated politics? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated.
Welcome back to Free Speech Nation. The Prime Minister said that he deeply regrets saying that Britain risked becoming an island of strangers because of mass immigration, admitting that it was, quote, not right to use that particular phrase. He said neither he nor his speechwriters had been aware that the remarks could have been interpreted as an echo of the language of Enoch Powell in his infamous Rivers of Blood speech. Joining me now is the director and founder of the Academy of Ideas, Baroness Claire Fox. Welcome. Baroness, what do you think is behind this mea culpa?
There's so many attacks on free speech. It does seem a bit odd to come on and talk about the fact that the Prime Minister has cancelled himself. But that's effectively what he's done. I mean, he gave a speech which I thought was an important speech that acknowledged the concerns of millions of people about the problem of too much in relation to immigration, the kind of distrust that had been sown, and so on. And actually, there was one poetic moment in which he referenced the problem of feeling as though you would live on an island of strangers, because he was talking about if the rules continue to be broken, people will just feel alienated in their own country. And I think we all recognise that. There's then a backlash, and any of the audience will know, anyone who's watching at home or here in the studio, that when they turn on you, it's pretty vicious, right? So there's like they're all saying, Enoch Powell, you are a racist, and all the rest of it. And actually, it's usually Starmer saying that, so it was a bit unusual. But they were saying it to him. And he stuck with the speech. And then he is now, and I think it's disgraceful but insightful, that he's basically dobbed in his speechwriter by saying, oh, when I gave that speech, I hadn't really read it. In other words, he never wrote it. And then I kind of gave it, and I didn't really know what it meant. And obviously, the nation is thinking, well, don't give a speech that you haven't read, actually, that you haven't written, but that you don't know what it means, that you've got references in it. And I think that, in that sense, it's a real sign of the times, as we have a year of this new Labour government, that we can't believe anything they say, that it doesn't, it's skin deep, it's absolutely of no conviction.
Yeah, I mean, I thought when the speech came out, I didn't make that connection with Enoch Powell, and I thought, okay, he seems like he gets it. Like there is an issue here, and he seems to understand, and it was very different, of course, from what happened, the kind of rhetoric that he was putting out last summer. So it felt like, OK, maybe he's starting to see that the issue here isn't that most of the country are actually a big bunch of racists, but are concerned about uncontrolled migration in this country.
I think that what we can see here is that there is undoubtedly a group of people in Number 10, and the name that keeps being floated around is Morgan McSweeney, one of his advisors, who is trying to get the government to have a certain intuitive feel for what the way that the country are tearing their hair out. And that's what this speech represented. By the way, I don't think that anybody who heard it immediately thought Enoch Powell, because with the exception of a few sort of hardcore actual racists, most people haven't studied the Enoch Powell Rivers of Blood speech word by word and recognised that phrase. And so, as I say, it was a kind of poetic phrase. He's now actually linked that phrase to Enoch Powell, and therefore linked a speech about the government's commitment to taking on the issue of mass migration to Enoch Powell, which basically means that he is saying that if you're concerned about mass migration, immigration, that you are swimming around in the Enoch Powell kind of waters. And that's very dangerous for those of us who are trying to seriously raise the issue. I think as well, I don't know about you, but it's the gaslighting that does my head in. I mean, you know that film, the Hitchcock film, I think 1940 or whatever, where a woman is made to feel as though she's going berserk or mad because her husband is dimming the lights all the time and, you know, turning the gas lights down. But I mean, how many times does this Prime Minister look us in the face and say, I absolutely, adamantly, we are not going to have a national inquiry on grooming gangs because we don't need to. And anyone who says so is hanging on the coattails of the far right, but in opposition, who tried to say that if you even made any criticism of the burqa, never mind that he wasn't trying to ban it, that you were Islamophobic. Now those same people are in government, and when people have tried to destroy his speech on the basis that is he not pal, instead of him sticking with the principle and the content of it, he basically has betrayed his own beliefs. He's got no convictions. I don't believe.
Absolutely. Someone who does have convictions, Baroness Claire Fox. It's been one of the hottest days of the year today, and my next guest has been making the most.